welcome or welcome back to the channel. It's me, hasinilakshminarayanan here. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is the first step where I interview young achievers. If you don't know about me, just to give a short introduction, I'm hasinilakshminarayanan. I'm a 13-year-old entrepreneur. I run an organization called The First Step, which is a non-profit organization where we aim to inspire, motivate, and empower children. I am a nutrition ambassador for the ICDS, Integrated Child Development Services Team, for the Tamil Nadu government. I am a freelance writer for the Hindu School edition and also a TED speaker. The first step is being supported by the CIT, Chennai Institute of Technologies, which is the number 2 engineering college in Tamil Nadu, India. Now moving on, let's welcome our guest for the day with all pleasure and delight.
Yeah, hello, my name is Omar. I'm originally from Egypt, but I live in Dubai. I am 14, and I run 2 main things. One is Blooming Education, which is also a nonprofit that's focusing on kind of spreading financial literacy in one region specifically, which is the Middle East and North Africa, because there's kind of a lack of it. And the second thing is Prism, which is kind of just a media thing that I'm running at the YouTube channel as well. There is nothing right now, but basically I'm working on a documentary about counterfeiting. And I also do debate, and I do MUN as well.
Let's begin with your journey. Why did you, what really prompted you to get into entrepreneurship? Tell us about your journey of becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So, over to you.
Yeah, okay. So actually, my dad is an entrepreneur. Kind of is that I was an entrepreneur. My family usually does start a lot of businesses and work on all different things. Usually not one field. For example, my uncle works in construction. The other works in medicine. It's really kind of a family thing where we do start businesses and work on business quite a lot. And I wanted to start something a bit different, and that's why I actually started Blooming. And I started very recently, but the aim of Blooming was really just to kind of spread financial literacy in the region, because the Middle East and North Africa, although there were a lot of incredible people with a lot of great ideas and businesses, there were also an equal amount of people who may not have access to financial resources to actually understand money properly. And I think that's because of so many reasons, whether it be lack of education, lack of state support, whatever the reason may be. That's kind of our mission and goal, which is just to support people and to kind of increase the region's really social and economic potential with financial literacy.
I can relate to the same just because my dad is also an entrepreneur, and when I actually realized that entrepreneurship isn't just about making money, it's a fascinating subject to learn, and it's really cool that you're able to support people who, with the very fascinating theme, social and economic fields and subjects. So yeah, that's really great, and I love to know more about it, and I hope the people are too. So I'd like to take on my next question from here. What really made you start your organization, the Blooming Education? What was your main source of inspiration to do such an initiative? And what do you aim for in the organization? What are a few stuff you've done so far? So yeah, over to you.
Yeah, okay. So what really inspired me isn't just one single thing. I just saw the impact of kind of financial literacy, and also I saw the impact of lack of financial literacy when communities don't have access to resources that teach them about money and how to use money. And I kind of saw both sides. Usually when I go to Egypt, yearly I go to Egypt for the summer vacation, and I saw the impact of both of these communities, where communities usually tend to become wealthy because they know how to manage their money. And there's also the other side, which communities tend to kind of be impoverished because they don't really know how to manage their money or know how to invest their money. Sometimes they fall for scams and a bunch of different reasons. So actually, since we started recently, we're right now just really recruiting and getting people. We're probably going to start off actually with a competition, because I think competitions really help to kind of bring in people and also help people to kind of compete and basically feel something. It's probably going to be like a pitch competition where everyone can submit a pitch to kind of improve, and something for us as well. We can use these great ideas to benefit us and also benefit the community as a whole. And being kind of an executive director is incredible, and a founder, because I work with some really incredible people. Even though we started this just earlier this month, actually, we have done a lot of different progress. We're already kind of talking with different people from different schools and different companies and organizations to kind of partner up and really create something which we can help a lot of different communities. And even if we just help one community or even just one person, we will be more than satisfied.
That's amazing again because it's my personal opinion too, because I don't think many children are aware about how to spend their money or how to invest on something. As you said, some might fall under scams, and this should be taught in the appropriate moment too, because you might not find it helpful when you learn it later on when you
Yeah,
go on with
exactly.
your career.
Exactly. That's
That's
why
really great.
yeah, focusing on children is very important. That's kind of the main thing, which is focus on youth when they're still in their 20s or in their teen years instead of when they were already become 16 and they learn this.
True. I totally agree with that. Moving on, reading about you, I read that you're also the Chief Executing Officer of Prism Media. So, what is this organization about? What role do you play being its CEO?
Well,
And how does this work?
Prism is kind of a one-man team. I'm the only person. That's why I kind of designated myself as that, because I'm the only person in Prism. But it's really kind of an independent project I'm doing to kind of work on things, and I really work on it and take my time in it to make sure it's perfect and it's very accurate. Basically, what really inspired me to do this is I bought some random toy online for my little sister, and then it came out as a fake thing. And then I kind of researched more about it, and I realized that the company that actually produced that thing had a lot of different reviews where they send fake products. But a lot of people don't realize is a lot of these fake products, whether they know that they're buying a fake product, like a fake maybe Gucci or Chanel bag, or whether they just it came a fake product, they don't really realize the impact of these products and where this money goes. Usually this money goes to very illicit sources. It sometimes goes to fund drug trafficking, arms sale, human trafficking, drug smuggling. It goes to so many different sources that harm our own societies, whether we know about it or not. And I'm working on a documentary right now on Prism, basically. It's going to be a YouTube channel, and that's the main post, the main documentary. And yeah, that's going to be the first post. I'm still working on it because it's very hard to find accurate things. And a lot of times when you do search something about counterfeiting, it gets removed from the internet because, it's illegal, it's illicit stuff. So it's a bit hard to research, but it's still very important. And I'm really motivated and committed to kind of completing that documentary.
Well, best of luck for that. And I hope you'll bring it out beautifully. And that's true because being this world of technologies, there are pros and cons, and especially when it comes to cons, scam is one important thing, and I don't think many people are aware about it. And many people are of course against online networking, shopping, because they are aware that scams happening. But then online shopping is also beneficial to people. Not only online shopping, but even online networking or so and so from there. And this is some message which I feel like no one has brought up initially, at least according to me, because I've never seen people do it before. So best of luck for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think it's very important, as you mentioned, online shopping especially. Online shopping helped us a lot, especially during this pandemic. People buy groceries now online. It's helped a lot of different people, but I think we should also realize the cons for it, and especially in counterfeit products and fake products. We don't usually realize the cons of it and the problems that comes with buying these products.
I definitely agree with that. And moving further, you seem to really like debate, if I'm right, and you also are in debate coach. Well, I am a debater myself. I love debating, and that's how I pretty much found out that I love public speaking. So, what really inspired or prompted you to get into debating, or was it just I've been doing it since I was young? I just seem to really like it. And what a few stuff you do as a debate coach?
Yeah, so for me, debating was very random. I was actually going on earlier in middle school. I used to be a president for a club that used to do social stuff. We were heading to a march for Diabetes Day and kind of raising awareness about diabetes and whatnot. And the leader of that, who was organizing, I actually sat next to him on the bus, and I asked him what other things you do in our school, and he told me the debate club. So actually after that, I kind of joined a few debate sessions. I was the youngest one in the debate session. Everyone was grade 11 and 12, and I was the youngest one. But I learned a lot of different things, and I started joining these debates regularly. And I decided, though, although I was very young at that time, and I was the youngest one in the club, it was really fun. And it's really fun because it also helps you outside of debate, outside of formal debate. It helps you kind of get negotiation techniques, how to argue with even your friends or family, whatnot. I think it's very important. And really, as COVID happened and everyone shut online, the school's debate club started kind of getting more members and whatnot. And they asked me to be a debate coach. And I was really honored because I've been to this debate for a very long time. We joined a lot of different competitions, like in the region, even internationally, online though. I think the biggest challenge with debate in this current time right now is because it's online. At least for us, we kind of shifted back to online school for a few weeks. We're hopefully going back, but debate is still online because there's no extracurricular activities anymore for COVID. So it's definitely different debating physically and like showing your body language or showing your emotions or tone versus kind of doing it online. It's a huge difference. And I think another challenge that I kind of come by is coaching, because usually I coach in teams of 3. That's how we do debate. So 3 versus 3. Usually in a team, you might have different skill sets. So sometimes in a team, you'd have someone who's very experienced, a really good debater, but that the speaker under him might not be the best debater or might not know a lot of techniques. So you really have to kind of manage the flow and kind of create a team that is cohesive and all kind of help and support each other. I think that's probably the biggest challenge, as well as like online debate. It's not very pleasant, but we can't really do it.
Yeah, I completely agree, because debates are something which you can learn a lot from, especially the spirit of how you can compete, and preparing on the moment is something which I'll always take back, because on debates, at least for us, we get spot topics. Like they won't give us topics on set for us to prepare and come and speak. It's just that you'll have to defend when you especially are the second or the third speaker, and that really is kind of fun on the other way around. So when it's online, you just can't show your inner emotions or not really bring it out on the whole. Maybe I truly agree. Even when it's not only when it comes to debates, but I guess in general, online education is not really that great compared to how it was often. That's my personal opinion though.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, like in debating, especially like when you have different speakers, usually physically you can plan it much better because you have like a team spirit, like team competition. Online, unfortunately, it isn't really there. We can't really do anything.
Well, apart from this, I can see that you're involved into so many other projects too. So if you can mention about a few of them for me.
Yeah. So actually, kind of also when I started joining grading, me and my friends joined this competition under a teacher. She actually told us like join this competition. It was for Expo 2020. Expo 2020 basically is like this huge show that's happening here in Dubai. It has like 200 pavilions with different countries represented, and then they started to have a school competition under the name Expo 2020 Student Champions. Basically, you're supposed to kind of solve a global problem or assist in solving a global problem. And we just decided to join it randomly as for fun, and like our teacher wanted to help us and stuff, so we're like, why not? And then we won first place. So basically what we did is we created a device that would kind of track water input. So you put it inside a water tank, and then it would track how much water you use. It would kind of track pH and temperature, and then it would send it to your phone on your app. So for example, on your phone, you could say, I only want to use like 100 gallons a day. Once you pass that, it sends you an SMS like, hey, you kind of passed 100 gallons a day, try to limit your water spending. We did that. We won first place. Luckily, we won first place under the private school category. So we're the 2 categories, public and private school. We're a private school, so we won first place in that. And we also actually submitted the same idea, but it was a bit when we were still working on it, to the Athena Innovation Fair, which was also being held here in Dubai, and we won first place as well. So it was really incredible, and we learned so many different things because, we were just like 8th graders at that time. We didn't know a lot of things. I was like 11, 12. So we learned a lot learned a lot during a short time span. We learned how to like do UX design, how to use Figma, how to use Arduino, and how to like code in little bits and kind of connect everything together. So even though we were like very young at the time, we learned a lot in a very short time span. Also kind of another project I'm working on is just my own website. So yeah, kind of working on that kind of slowly, and trying to find time whenever I'm free to kind of work on that.
Well, as you mentioned, it is actually incredible because that's a really cool idea to track how much of gallons of water you use a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, again, it's the need of the hour. I mean, to conserve water is one big problem which should be focused necessarily. And I'm a social activist, by the way. I am, yeah, I spread awareness about the SDG goals. So it's really fascinating to know about it. And I feel like it should be out soon. So best of luck for that. And also best of luck for the website which you're currently working on. I hope that turns out to be incredibly insane too. Moving on, yeah, of course. Moving on, you have won and you own many recognizations and awards too. So if you can mention about a few. And what are few takebacks which you learned after receiving awards or recognition? Because for me, it's generally a responsibility to do more. So how does it work with you? What are few takebacks which you take along?
So I won a lot of different awards. As I mentioned, also the Expo 2020 kind of student champion. That was kind of an award, as well as the Teen Innovation Fair, also the World Scholars Cup. It was my first time. I won a few awards in that. But basically, kind of what really inspires me and motivates me is just to kind of do something, and maybe just to change. Just as like you said, it's really nice to feel that you're doing something that's helping people, or even at least inspiring other people to help other people. And it's a really nice feeling when you feel like, oh, I'm doing something, I'm accomplishing something, and other people are using it and benefiting from it. A few probably challenges, as you mentioned, I overcome. It's just like finding people to join you, and the real reason, kind of the way I solve that problem and kind of overcome that problem is usually when I, for example, like the competitions. I join a lot of like competitions, like for example, like debate on like Discord. I used to do that in like MUN, United Nations on Discord. Usually, sometimes I only look to like towards my friends or like people in my school, but I realized that was kind of a problem. I should look more generally. Like I started teaming up and kind of being friends with a lot of people from different countries, even India. For example, for an MUN session on Discord, I had a team from our team was from India and Pakistan, and we had a team from China. It was a very global team. And we kind of, even though after the debate session, the MUN session, we were still friends because we talked about our cultures and we shared different ideas. So even though it might seem a challenge, after time, it really became something I benefited from, because even though in Dubai, we're very multicultural, very cosmopolitan, it also helped me kind of expand that idea and understand other people's cultures and traditions. And it's very nice kind of learning about other people's cultures as well.
Well, I can, I'm not into MUN though, but I can relate to the same now when interacting with about 100 plus people, 100 plus young achievers, which includes you. You're one among them now. So, I'm not a very shy or person who's not ready to interact with new people. Of course, I am a very hyperactive person, but I feel like this pandemic has really taught me to interact, to make social networking, and to have conversations with people you've never met before, and just gel among, make new friends, learn about their cultures, how they perform activities, and just learn about them in general.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very eye-opening experience. You really realize that the world is huge and there's so many different people in it.
Definitely. I agree on the same. Moving on, what are your other hobbies? What do you generally like doing? And, who's your inspiration, a role model? What are your future plans?
So for my hobbies, I actually I don't really have one hobby. I just start doing something and then I quit it and then I do something else. So I just do a bunch of different hobbies. Like I do guitar. I have a guitar. I kind of played guitar. I played flute for a little bit. I learned a little bit of piano. Another kind of hobby thing I really like is just learning things. I don't know if that counts as a hobby. I just really like reading. That's another hobby, I guess. I really like reading books, especially like non-help books, self-help books, non-fiction. That's kind of more of my thing than fiction, but it's really nice for me. My inspiration really draws. I don't really have one specific inspiration. I think I have a lot of different people who I kind of look up to. Some of them might include, like, for example, my own parents. A lot of people don't really realize that, but your own parents themselves are inspiration. My mom is probably one of my biggest inspirations. It's kind of a cliche thing, but it really is. But I think if you think of big people, very big famous people, probably my inspiration would be somewhere I do like Elon Musk for some of his things. I don't really like everything he does, but I do like that how he is really kind of entering different things. But I don't really like a lot of different things, like his employee or some of his political views I don't really agree with. But I do like his kind of ambition and how he really wants to work and change the world. That is something I really do admire. Yeah, and I think I do admire some other people and like politicians, like Bernie Sanders. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a U.S. senator. I really admire him because even though I'm not really too much into politics, even though I'm into MUN, like international relations, I'm not really into like U.S. politics, but I'm really into the fact that even though he was like in his mid-20s, he still has the same views and he's very strong and he like wants to, he doesn't change his views whenever like he gets money or whatnot. So he's very kind of focused on what he wants to do, and that's kind of something that really I inspire to.
That's really cool, yet again. So I have one last question, and then I guess we could do it. What is the one thing you'd want to change in the society, and why?
I think there's a lot of things I probably wanted to change in the society, but like one main thing, at least in my community and my society and the people I live around, is financial illiteracy. Illiteracy, not literacy, like illiteracy when people are not financially literate. I think even though we do have some resources nowadays, we need a lot more, and especially for teenagers, we do a lot of money mistakes. We might spend money on like very stupid things that we might really realize that it'll be very beneficial future on. So that would be one thing I want to change, is to make sure everyone knows some of the money resources they have. Not a lot of people know enough about investments or even scams, as I mentioned in earlier across this kind of interview talk. That older people get scammed very often because they don't really realize the mistakes. So yeah, that's probably one thing I'd change, just making sure people are financially literate and understand money and how to use money properly.
Today is more or less, I feel like more people watching this would be aware, and they go out and read about this subject on how they should actually handle money, because it's a huge subject which everybody should be aware about, especially today's generation, the new generation. And I feel like you're doing a wonderful job and justifying this statement.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now,
Thank you.
thanks for being here today. Thanks for accepting our invitation once again.
Thank
And
you.
with that, for the people watching, if you liked watching the video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, click on the bell icon for further updates from the first step. And with that, signing off, it's Omar and Hasini here. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. So yeah, like, share, and subscribe.